Our lesson is about the significance of carbon. At the end of the lesson, students should be able to, number one, explain why carbon is essential to life on Earth. Second, list the four major types of organic compounds. Number three, name the monomers of carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acids. And last, identify the main functions of the four types of organic compounds. Alright, so first, analyze muna natin what are compounds. So compound is found mainly in living things, is known as an organic compound. So organic compounds make up the cells and other structures of organisms and carry out life process. So pag kasi sinabi natin organic compounds, these are the compounds with the main element. Ano po yung main element? Carbon. So generally, if we are speaking about organic compounds, we are dealing with carbon. And carbon is essential to life on Earth. So ang sabi diyan, without carbon, life as we know, it could not exist. So kasi, ang cells kasi natin, binubuo yan ng organic compounds. So, ano po ba yung bumubuo sa organic compounds? Carbon, meaning, kung walang carbon, walang organic compounds, walang cell, at walang life. Okay? So carbon is very essential to our life. A compound is a substance that consists of two or more elements. It has a unique composition that is always the same. The smallest particle of a compound is called molecule. So consider natin yung water. Water, pag sinulat natin ang chemical formula niya, that is H2O. So meaning, meron tayong dalawang element, which are hydrogen and oxygen. And sabi dyan, if the carbon is consists of two or more elements, meaning H2O has two elements, therefore, that is an example of molecule. Okay, and it is an example of compound as well. A molecule of water always contains one atom of hydrogen and two atoms of hydrogen. Kaya nga po siya H2O, ibig sabihin dalawang atoms of hydrogen and a single atom of oxygen. So what causes the atoms of water molecule to stick together? Bakit po sila nagkakadikit-dikit kung marami po silang molecule ng atom? So the answer for this is because of chemical bonds. So a chemical bond is a force that holds molecules together. So sa isang baso ng tubig, marami na po diyang molecules ng water. So, hindi po sila maghihiwa-hiwalay because of chemical bond. Chemical bonds form when substances react with one another. So, ito, may sinasabi po tayo na chemical reaction. And that is the process that changes some chemical substances into others. So, a chemical reaction is needed to form a compound. So let me just write an example. Okay. So that's an example of chemical reaction, wherein it will also start with elements. So let us have the elements that bumubuo sa water. So meron tayong H2O. H2 plus O. And it will undergo chemical reaction and it will result to H2O. Now, this one is called chemical equation. Isang buo siyang equation. Ito po, these are elements. Now, pag nag-undergo sila ng chemical equation, magbabond sila at tatawagin na po silang compound. Alright? Compound and molecule. So as you can see, we have here molecule of water. And this arrow stands for chemical reaction. So meron po tayong chemical reaction na naganap dito sa ating equation. A chemical equation is needed to form a compound. Another chemical reaction is needed to separate the substances in a compound. Another example, let us have NaCl or sodium chloride. So, ibig sabihin, sodium and chloride, pagkasama sila, this is a compound. Now, NaCl or sodium chloride will undergo chemical reaction para maghiwalay sila. Okay? So, when sodium chloride, nag-undergo sila ng chemical reaction, therefore, maghihiwalay sila at magiging dalawang magkaibang elements sila, which is the sodium and the chlorine. Right? Okay, so let me just clean this and proceed with the next slide. Okay, so why is carbon so basic to life? So bakit kaya po ba kailangan natin ng carbon? So the reason is carbon's ability to form stable bonds with many elements, including itself. So this property allows carbon to form a huge variety of very large and complex molecules. So lahat po ng types ng organic compounds natin na makikita dito is meron po siyang compound. So let us have type of compound. Meron po tayo ditong carbohydrates. Example niyan, sugars and starch. As you can see, yung elements nilang apat. The carbohydrates, lipids, protein, and nucleic acid. So makikita nyo, sa element column, lahat po sila ay mayroong carbon. Alright? Yan. So, meron tayong mga carbon dyan. Lahat sila may carbon. Meaning, kailangan po talaga ng carbon in our life. Okay. So, living things are made up of very large molecules. So, pag sinabi natin large molecules, they are called macromolecules because macro po means large. They are made by smaller molecules bonding together. So our body gets these smaller molecules, the building blocks or the monomers of organic molecules from the food we eat. So balik tayo doon sa slide kanina. Ito yung mga monomers na binabanggit doon sa slide. So, yung mga monomers na kukuha natin dito sa mga kinakain natin. So, the monosaccharide, amino acids, and nucleotide. We have here the four main types of macromolecules that is present po in living organisms. We have the proteins, carbohydrates, lipids, and nucleic acid. So the carbohydrates are sugars or long chains of sugars. It has an important role is to store energy. So kanin. Kanin ang basic source po natin ng carbohydrates. Glucose is an important simple sugar molecule with a chemical formula C6H12O6. The numbers that are present po sa babayan ha, subscript po sila. And depende po sa number nila kung ilang atoms po ng bawat element ang meron. So we have here the compound glucose, meaning meron siyang 6 atoms of carbon 12 atoms of hydrogen, and 6 atoms of oxygen. Simple sugars are known as monosaccharides. So the animals store sugar in polysaccharides called glycogen. The proteins, these are molecules naman po that have many different functions in living things. So lahat po ng proteins po are made of monomers called amino acids. The enzymes po are a type of protein that speed up chemical reaction. So, for example natin yung digestion. So, sa digestion, meron tayong enzymes sa katawan or sa tiyan natin, which makes the fastest chemical reaction. Kasi kung wala tayong amylase or yung enzyme po natin, which helps us dissolve food, hindi madidissolve yung kinakain natin. Kahit ilang taon pa natin yan nasa tiyan, kung wala tayong amylase at enzymes, it will not break down. So, napakahalaga po ng enzyme because it speeds up chemical reactions. Next are the antibodies. So, antibodies protect you against disease. Ito naman po yung tinatawag nating mga proteins. So, they help us fight diseases. Lipids are molecules such as fats, oils, and waxes. So, the most common lipids in your diet are fats and oils. So, itong mga fats na to are solid or tumitigas siya at room temperature, whereas oils are fluid. So, yung mga fats po, for example, nagprito ka ng baboy. Tapos, pag hinayaan mo lang siyang lumamig dyan, in room temperature, makikita mo, parang nagsebo siya or medyo tumigas siya. Yun yung tinatawag natin fats. Pero, yung oil, it will remain as liquid. So, yung makikita mo mantika doon na hindi tumigas, meaning oil talaga siya, which is in liquid state. Next is the nucleic acids. These are long chains of nucleotides. What is nucleotides naman po? These are made of sugar, a nitrogen-containing base, and a phosphate group. We have the DNA or the deoxyribonucleic acid and the RNA ribonucleic acid. So these are two main nucleic acids. So sila po ay more on DNA replication or sa mga inheritance po sila yun yung kanilang function for DNA replication. And we have the polymer. This is a large molecule formed of many smaller molecules covalently bonded in a repeating pattern. So, ibig sabihin, kung ano yung itsura ng bonding nila, yung kadalasan ginagawa natin, yung may single bond, double bond, ayan. So, kung ano yung itsura niya, sa una, ganun pa rin yung itsura niya sa huli kasi repeating pattern lang sila. And the smallest molecule or the small molecule which make up the polymer is called the monomers. Wait lang ha.